Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of the podcast. I am just joined by me, myself, and I today. I have a few topics of conversation that I would like to discuss, and I think a lot of it is relevant to me at the moment. So I just thought it'd be a really good chance just to do a podcast just on my own, discussing a few of the topics that I'm about to today because they're really close to my heart and things that I'm going through myself. So I just thought it would be a great way just to talk about that and discuss a little bit more about my life and where it's at. And yeah, it just all ties in relevantly to the topics of this podcast. So I just thought I'd jump on and do this one myself. So please excuse the mess in the background. I am moving. So that explains that. So I have this new microphone, shiny new microphone. So hopefully the sound is a lot better and a lot clearer. So yeah, let's hope and pray. But yeah, let's just dive in. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has listened and tuned in for the past few podcasts. It's just been a dream again for me to do this, and with the feedback from people and how much they've enjoyed, resonating and engaging with the topics and the guests that I've had on just makes me so happy and just makes this all worthwhile. Like I would do this anyway regardless, but the fact that it is actually reaching people in the way intended is just so amazing. So thank you to everyone who takes the time really to sit and watch these and who takes anything away from them. So yeah, I just thought I'd jump in, start off this podcast by saying that. So thank you, everybody. So today's podcast is going to be on the topics of societal pressures and norms, quitting, settling down, all these pressures and things that we face that are put on us from a very young age by society, as I said, family, friends, and a lot of this is like unconscious as well. A lot of these things are unconsciously spoken to us. People aren't, our family, and just how we are conditioned as a society, and things passed down from our families that held value to them. It's so funny because I work with kids and I can just see, and obviously I do coaching and I know myself just from, you look at the parent, you look at the kids, and it's everything is just passed down. It's like learned behavior. A lot of our personalities, a lot of our traits aren't actually us. They're just formed from different people's, behaviors and opinions and thoughts and things like that. And then we just take them because we think that that's important, because that's what we've been shown and that's what we've been told is important, to the people we look up to. So we must make it important to ourselves, and really learning or unlearning all that is a journey in itself. And I don't think a lot of people really ever do get to do that and find out their own journey. And that's a massive part of why I do these podcasts, is because I want to push home the importance of living life completely and utterly for you at the end of the day. But these conditions that are placed upon us from a young age, and families and society, have turned us into this mass of people who are just lost, or they're conditioned to thinking that they want something that they don't even. This is why I wanted to come and speak on this podcast, because I definitely have felt that in my life. And again, it's no one's fault. It's just passed down from like your parents, or again, the pressures of society, again, making you think that you want something that you actually don't. And it takes quite a big thing for you to wake up to see that that's not actually what you want. And for me, I'll go into that in a little while. That is exactly why I'm moving abroad now. But I'll touch on that in a little bit. But basically, from a young age, we're told we should be married by a certain age. We should have it all figured out by a certain age. Like, God forbid that you're in your 30s and you don't have kids. You haven't bought a house and you've not met the one. Like, God forbid. Like, we're all doomed. I have none of those things. I don't have kids. I don't have my own house. I've not bought my own house. I don't have a partner. Like, I don't have any of these things. And we are conditioned to believe that by a certain age, if we don't have these boxes ticked off, then we are in deep trouble. Like we are like a total outsider, like completely outcast, a bit ostracized, like, and it's just not the case. And it's because it's been hammered home to us for so long, and nobody's really questioned things. Nobody's really been, there's not really been a movement of people who have just been like, well, no, actually, like this is my normal. This is my normal. This is what my normal looks like. And I'm absolutely okay with that. People still get so much crap for like living a life true to them just because it doesn't suit that person they're talking to, which is absolutely mental. Like, I don't know if anyone has had this, or like you go to like a family party. I'm not talking about my family, I'm just talking in general. Like, why haven't you settled down? The same chat, like what happened with this person, or why did that relationship go? Are you not wanting to settle down? Why do you not have kids? Like, these are all questions that are very, very intrusive questions, and really none of anybody's business, like, at all. I get that family can ask these things because they are obviously concerned and they care about you, but for the person on the receiving end, that can be massively, massively, like, like triggering. Like, you know they could be going through some things that they want to, work on themselves. It's because they want these things, but they might not have them yet. Or they could just point blank not want the same things as you, and that's absolutely okay. That's fine. Why do we become so obsessed with what other people are doing? Like, why? Like, why? Like, I'm just such an advocate for just stay in your own lane, like, when it comes to these things, like people's lives, like actual people's lives. But again, like, society have pressurized us all into believing that we must have XYZ by a certain age. And I feel, massively grateful for the way my life has turned out thus far, even though there has been obviously some points in it at the time where I would have cried myself to sleep thinking like, this is the be all end all. Like, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have the life I wanted. Like, I'm so far away from this vision that I've always thought for myself. And really, like, when I come to talk about like the moving part for me, like when I'm moving and why I came about this decision, like, it takes like a big thing for you to realize that like sometimes what you want isn't actually what you want. And I know that is a massive statement and a very like controversial thing to say, because like surely you know what you want, but do you really know what you want unless it's coming from like that true calling, like deep within you? And so many people probably don't even know what that is, and I'm very grateful to be able to have had that chance to have that time for myself and really sit with my thought and deeply reflect on my life. And this only happened this year. Yeah, this year. Forgot when I was last away. Yeah, so like I have had the chance to really reflect on these things and really come to terms with a lot this year. And for me, that this is massively inspiring me to motivate and really chase after what it is that I know that I do want now, because I do feel it full body and soul and mind. It's exactly what I know I need to be doing at this point in my life. And to a lot of people that is massively controversial, because again, it's probably pushing me further away in some people's eyes from settling down. I think it's a controversial move, basically. A lot of people go and travel and are selfish when they're younger, because they can have like the gap year, they're still being supported by their family, all that kind of stuff. I've kind of done it a bit later on, and what has happened with me was I actually went and had my dream holiday in Costa Rica in May. And that was just honestly one of the most amazing experiences of my whole entire life. I'm sure you guys that follow me on Instagram know this by now. I constantly post about it. It's just the most magical place I've ever been to. Again, this year I was in another relationship that didn't work out, and that's fine now. Like, I was able to graciously sort of let that go, because I now realize that, it doesn't have to be these breakups and things don't have to be this big, massive fiasco. Like, you know, people aren't always going to be suited to you, and the easier and the more gracefully you can accept that and let that person go, it just creates more room and space for the right people to move into your life. And I think that's a massive lesson, like, we could all learn, and it would save us so much pain, and it would save us so much time. And yeah, it doesn't always have to be like this big massive thing, like when something doesn't work out with somebody. So I had a relationship that didn't work out, and it's fine because it gave me the real time afterwards, while I was on holiday in Costa Rica for 2 weeks. It gave me so much time to break that relationship down in my head, break the whole thing down in my head, and really think. You know, I met so many amazing people over there who were able to chat to me about life, and they really wanted to, you know, have deep chats with you. These people in Costa Rica, they don't do like surface level small talk. Like, they want to know everything about you, everything about your life, and then they always share their experiences, which I just found so amazing, that people would just open up like that and are so happy just to sit and get to know you on that level. Like, that doesn't always happen. And I just met so many amazing people over there and made so many new friends, and it opened up almost this other portal of life and different experiences that I had, that made me realize that I actually I don't want to settle down right now. Like, I don't want a relationship. You know, I need to really work on the relationship with myself, and I think I've needed to do that for a very long time. And again, because of this podcast, exactly, the societal pressures and things passed down from your family, like what they want from you, caused me so much pressure. And, like, I'm not going to lie, like, it's caused me a lot of pressure in my life to perhaps find and have the same as everyone else in my family. Like, you know, looking around, I've got a very big family. A lot of them are settled down with kids and married. I'm like, not, which I'm totally fine about. Like, I'm absolutely fine. But a few years ago, I wouldn't have been. I would have freaked out if I'd lost a boyfriend, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I'm never going to have this. I'm never going to have that. I'm getting further and further away. I'm getting older. I'm getting so much further away from having kids. Like, I'm not going to be able to have kids. Like, all these things, like the pressure, the pressure, the pressure. And then that pressure carries into the next relationship you go into. So every relationship I've actually entered into has practically been doomed until I've came to this realization, because the pressure that I've put on top of these relationships working out, when necessarily they've not been the right person for me, and I've tried to make a star fit into a circle, like, you know, like the little peg things when you're younger and you hammer the shapes through. I've been trying to, like, in the past, you know, put the wrong shape in this hole, you know, essentially, because I have desperately wanted to not let people down, to people please, and to have this image that I thought I wanted. And genuinely, I really do. I want, like, a family, and I want kids, and I want a house, but I I don't want that right now. Like, one day, yeah, like, I do definitely want that. That's definitely something I want, but, you know, that will happen when it's right, and it will happen with the right person. And I have neglected myself so much for a relationship, for finding this perfect image of, you know, getting the house and the right person, and, you know, as well as all my other sort of anxieties over, like, having my own family and not wanting my family to be a broken family one day. So that all these pressures, like, it's awful. Like, it can literally derail people's lives, like, and it has done for me for, like, quite some time. Like, I don't regret anything in my life. Like, everything has been a lesson. Nothing is a mistake. Everything is redirection and growth, and it's an opportunity to grow. Nothing is a mistake. Like, please don't ever think that you're making mistakes. These are all valuable lessons to learn and grow. And I feel in the past that I've just spent so much time and energy trying to meet someone so that I can have this idealistic thing by this certain time and this age. And that's caused me so much pressure and strain in the relationships that they have not worked. And even settling for people that, you know, I wouldn't have normally, I wouldn't, now that I know my true alignment and who I am as a person, what I would like from a partner, trying to settle with the wrong people when I just knew they weren't aligning with what I want from life, you know, in any way, and trying to make that work with some people. And like, that's really sad, because, you know, that is putting so much time and energy, and again, it was just putting more and more like crap on top of me, because my self-worth was just getting worse and worse and worse, because I was like, why is this not working? Why can't I find the right person? Why is this now not working with this person? And like, all of that stress just pushes you so much further away from like your true calling and your true self and your true life that you want to create for yourself. And half the time, you really just need to be connecting to the one person that matters most, and that is you, connecting back to yourself. So that is how I feel about the sort of societal norms and family pressures. And again, that's not their faults. It's just what they think is important to them, and that's great. And that's what they value from life, and that's brilliant. But you cannot live because your family want you to do something, or because your friends have this. If that's not what you really want, and you're not in that place, if you are desperately going out to seek and find that, you are literally controlling an outcome that would organically probably, you know, be much better for you. If you're going out there with that mindset of lack and you don't have, you're probably operating from a mindset that is lack. And that is that's when you start to get a bit desperate, and you start to really go out and make make things and people come to you in a more controlling way, and try and make, again, the shape fit, not the right hole. And it's just going to cause you so much grief and endless pain, when you really need to just turn the focus onto you and see what you really want from life, and have that chat with yourself in that space, and really work out what it is you want from life and what makes you happy, and release all of those conditions that have been placed on us from other people, because that is so much louder at times. And again, with my coaching, you can work with me, and I can help with the conditioning and the layers of all those things that we're taught, if you feel that you are struggling with these things yourself. And I have absolutely been there, so I completely and utterly sympathize. Moving on to the reason I am moving. So I am moving to Costa Rica. If nobody knew, I am moving next year in March. I made the decision to do that when I came back from my trip in May, and completely fell in love with the place. And again, it allowed me to find out what exactly is what I want from life. And at the time, as I was saying, I had just split up with someone. And again, I thought that I was devastated. I thought, you know, that was my chance to, like, again, have kids and find a house and settle down in Scotland. And I thought that is exactly what I wanted to happen. And then I went to Costa Rica, and everything just got blown into the air, like completely blown open for me. And it wasn't just like the people, wasn't just the people and the conversations and the sort of new mindset of mentality of people over there. Like, of course, that was a massive part of it, and it's another reason why I do want to go back there and spend some time really with people like-minded like that really do want to help you grow. And you know, that being there really pulled out my true essence, and I'd be silly to not go back. And again, I now don't have any ties, so very grateful thus far. My life has worked out in this way, because it's now provided me with the opportunity for me to go and travel and to do this now. And you know, I speak to a lot of people about it, and most are happy, and some, you can almost sense that little bit of kind of resentment, which is sad, because there's a part of everyone who wishes they could do that. And maybe if things had been different from them, they could have done this. And I totally understand, you know, that they feel that way, you know. But hopefully I have been told that me doing this, me making this move has inspired so many people. When I handed my career break form into work, I was really nervous. And actually my bosses, you know, they were so supportive. They said that they thought it was like a massively brave move. They thought It was massively inspiring, and it's just been such a lovely response from friends and most of my family. Obviously my mum and dad found it quite hard for me to tell them that, but close friends and family and things like that, they are just so happy for me to be able to go and do this and grow as a person and really immerse myself back into the place that helped me to really find my purpose of life and really, you know, really fall into alignment with myself and have that space and time to really work through a lot of stuff, because I was working through like a lot of dark stuff over there and basically in paradise, but it held such a beautiful open safe space for me to heal and to work through that breakup and to process what it is I actually want. And what it is I actually want is to go and connect with myself so much more deeper than I am. And that is so apparent to me in the ways that I feel when I ask myself, like, is this the right thing to do? Because obviously it's took a lot of questioning and a lot of thinking about, like, is this right for me? But as soon as I got home, and I asked myself, like, what is it you want to do now? Like, where do you go from here? Like, you've left this place, and I feel like a part of my heart is like there right now. Like, I feel so grateful for the experiences and everything that I had there, that I am now, you know, the savings that I did have to buy the house are now, they're in the back burner. Like, that's all that I'll make new money, I'll make new money. I can get a job when I come back, if I come back. I can, you can always make new money. You can always find a new job. You can always find a new flat. You can always find a new house. You will never, ever, ever get your time back on this earth. You will never, ever get that back. And that's what I really want to drive home, like, how important that actually is, how short life is, how we are here to experience joy, happiness, freedom. What does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? What does that look like to you? And why aren't you pursuing that right now? And if you can make a plan to do that, I suggest that you go and start really thinking about what it is you want from life, because these pressures and things, that is all they are. They're just thoughts that people have had, and it's now became this massive core belief of, like, countries and basically the predominant world. A lot of people believe the same thing, but I've went over there and it's just like a completely different way of life. It's so simplistic. I've basically came home and started selling all my stuff, and that's why everything's in bags. You don't need a lot to be happy in life. Like, I just can't wait to go over there with, like, a suitcase. Like, all my stuff is going to my parents' house. It's going there, selling most of my stuff. I don't want to be tied to all these material things anymore. Like, it made me realize that that's not happiness. Like, happiness is, to me, anyway, this looks different to everybody, obviously. To me, my happiness lies in outdoors, nature, sunsets. Like Costa Rica, I've never seen a sunset like that in my whole life. Like, I can't wait to go back and just, that'll be my, like, my nighttime every night. Like, that, to me, I need to pinch myself and remind myself that this is happening. I need to push myself out my comfort zone. Nothing ever good comes from a comfort zone. Like, it keeps you completely and utterly boxed in life, and no real growth will ever be done unless you push the boundaries of your own limiting beliefs. And I, as a child, wouldn't go on holiday with my mum and dad. Like, I'd freak out. I'm not a good flyer. Like, I had all these anxieties of, I was such a home bird. Like, I had massive, like, issues with ever, like, sleeping over at people's houses. Like, I was such a weird kid. Really just liked to be near my family and hated traveling. And now I have booked to do this, like, crazy trip from the other side of the world, go and live in the rainforest and just really deeply connect back to myself and to source. And it was just so nice and refreshing to see that there was people like me like that all around in Costa Rica. Like, it was as if they were all there to do the same and to help each other. And it was just so healing. So I've got my date. So the 1st of March, I am moving to Costa Rica with literally a suitcase and doing the whole trip on my own. And I will be vlogging that as well. So I'm so looking forward to vlogging everything. I'm going to vlog it each week and just document my progress over there and just life over there, because I just love watching people's travel vlogs, like solo travel vlogs, female solo travel vlogs. Like, these people inspire me so much. These have been my inspiration since before I went to Costa Rica, and now when I've came back, I've realized that this is exactly what I need to do for me. And watching videos like that just massively inspire me. So if me vlogging my trip really pushes someone else out there to going out there and breaking old habits and pushing yourself right out your comfort zone, then that is, to me, everything. But yeah, to me, that is exactly what my life is about just now. And what I will say is, like, these norms are fine. Like, if you want a family by a certain age, that's fine, but just be aware that is a lot of it is like kind of like just portrayed to us as that's what we're supposed to do. And that's great if that's what you want, but for a lot of people, that's not what they want. It's made them feel like the sort of, I don't know, like the kind of just outcast from, like, like you're the strange one or things like that, just for not going by society's rules. And it's just, I've just always been one to really quite question that. And it wasn't until recently I've really just went, no, absolutely, like, I can't believe that I was about to just settle for something that I didn't really even want, and I thought I did. And then I went to Costa Rica and realized what I did want was to travel and to connect back to myself and to spend this time with me and go and live somewhere absolutely wild. Like, I've only dreamed about. I used to watch this couple that I watched, like, they do the yoga. It's called Boho Beautiful Yoga on YouTube, and I have watched them for many years. And I used to remember just sitting on the mat and being like, where are they filming this? Because I am blown away by that scenery. Like, where are they? And I realized that they did vlogs themselves, and realized that they were in Costa Rica and that's where they lived. And it's all very like plant-based, wellness-based. People take care of the country. People, there's no army. Like, it's very chill. People are so laid back. Like, they have a thing over there called Tico time, because it's just so chilled out. Like, there's no rush. People aren't angry. People are just very happy and grateful for what they have. And a lot of people over there, it's not much. And I just find that so refreshing. So refreshing. I did have a couple of questions, which I will have a wee look at just now. So I think I've kind of answered that one. So what's healing? Oh no, I've not answered. What's healing and important about quitting, even though it can feel difficult at the time? So I kind of covered that. So I basically do think that quitting is, again, another thing that people are told is a bad thing, and it's just not the case. Like, I'm here to tell you that is absolute bullshit. Quitting is not a bad thing. Quitting is actually a complete and utter act of self-love and a vote for the person that you want to become. Yes, it's a bit of an issue if you quit every 2 minutes at things, like, you do need to have that discipline. But if you get to a certain point of your life and you're starting to question things like, is this aligning with me? Is this job what I want to do anymore? Is this growing me as a person? Is this making me truly happy? Then it's time to quit. Like, that's the black and white of it. It's time to quit and time to move on, because, again, life is so quick and we don't know how much time we have in this world. It's time to make the most of it, and it's time to be ruthless, and it's time to do things that are cutthroat maybe. But at the end of the day, you live life for you, and you should not listen to anyone else's opinion on that. Like, anybody else's opinion doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It just doesn't. I do understand my mum and dad's frustrations and a bit of, like, worry about me moving to another country on my own. I completely understand that. But again, they've kind of came full circle again, and they're very happy for me to go and live life. And that's exactly, if I have children, I would be doing the same. You have children to let them create the life that they want to have. Give them that freedom to really find out who they are and to explore life exactly how they would see fit, because they are not you. They are not a carbon copy of you. They are their own little individual person on this earth with their own unique talents and skills and amazing things that they're going to bring to people's lives and this world. And you need to not, hinder them in any way. But yeah, my mum and dad are at a place now where they can be happy for me that I'm going to do this for myself because it makes me happy at the end of the day. So I'm really glad that I finally have their blessings about it. But yeah, quitting is something that you need to do in this life. I think Stephen Bartlett, from Diary of a CEO, posted something the other day, and I think he said it was like quit your way to a happy life. Like, of course, like, why should we just sit back and accept things? Like, if they're not aligning with you and if it's not bringing you true peace and happiness, then what are we doing? Quitting's not a bad thing at all in that respect. And the other question was, what does settling down mean to you? And I think that this looks different to every human being because every human being's idea and version of settling down is completely different and completely tailor-made to them and perhaps their partner who maybe shares the same alignment and morals and things like that and values. But settling down to me, like when I think about settling down, I think like it would be amazing to meet someone who wants to travel and have a family on the road or backpack, take my child around the world. Like that to me is settling down, but doesn't mean that that's settling down to like someone else, like completely different ideas. Settling down is what brings you that warm and fuzzy, true feeling and vibration in your body. Like, what does that feel to you? Like, what does that look to you? Settling down. 100%, I don't think we should settle if it's not what we truly want either. Settling down should only happen when you know that you're not settling for less than you deserve. But yeah, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover in this podcast. I don't want it to be too long. But I just want to thank you all for listening, and I hope something resonates with you. I hope something inspires you, and thank you so much for listening. And I will be back in a few weeks with another guest and another podcast. So thank you.